the show over Zoom. Commissioner Bowlsby, let us officially welcome you to BYU Sports Nation. We've been anticipating this interview for a very long time.
Well, thank you for that kind welcome. As I mentioned in my comments earlier, I've been to Lavelle Edwards Stadium and saw the beauty of it, but I haven't seen a game there yet. So I'm looking forward to that in the very near future.
Yeah, we cannot wait for you to experience that, not to mention a packed Marriott Center when Kansas or Baylor or Oklahoma State come to play BYU, because it's going to get loud.
Well, that's not an unusual circumstance in our conference. You talk with the officials that work in the Big 12 conference and also work other leagues. They say, wow, is it like that every night? And the answer is, yeah, it actually is like that every night.
Well, awesome. So many questions were asked, in the press conference. I want to follow up on a couple of those. Has there been, and I'm sure in the next 2 years we're going to figure this out, right? There's not all answers today. Have you discussed whether there will be 8 or 9 conference games in the future once BYU's in?
Yeah, we're still in macro mode at the present time. We'll get to micro mode, and we're going to need to think through some of those questions. It depends a little bit on when everybody comes in. We know when BYU is going to come in, but we don't know for sure when the other 3 are going to come in. It'll either be 23 or 24. And so that's going to bear on the decision, obviously. It also depends a little bit, as Tom Homo mentioned, how soon can you get out of the contracts that are there? There may be a year of transition where you have to have some substitute football games in terms of what you call league games and that sort of thing. But we will likely play 8 or 9 league games. It may vary over time. We'll likely have to go to divisions, and we've played divisions before, but we've had a situation where everybody played everybody over the last 8 years. Similarly in basketball, with 12 teams or 14 teams in the near term, you can't play a full double round robin like we're playing now. So you're going to have some 2 plays and you're going to have some 1 plays, and we'll have to figure those things out. There are hundreds and hundreds of details that need to be ironed out, and frankly, we haven't spent a lot of time on those just yet.
Commissioner Bob Bowlsby from the Big 12 Conference is with us on BYU Sports Nation. I want to rewind to 2016 and ask you specifically how that run at potential conference expansion 5 years ago may have helped or even expedited the process here in 2021.
Well, it's a great question. And I don't know that I've spent a lot of time contemplating that very precisely. The earlier process was a very different one. It was a voyage of exploration. We really didn't know whether we were going to add members or not. We talked to 17 institutions. We did it very openly, and we tried to be very forthright with them that we didn't know if we were going to expand. If we expanded, we didn't know by how many, and we were just trying to be as open and honest as we possibly could. I will say this: BYU was right at the top of the list at that time, and had we taken that step, I find it hard to believe that there wouldn't have been an invitation. But that's just speculation. And so this was a very different process. It was targeted to those that reached out to us, and we didn't involve a lot of institutions that went past the first step. And so, as was said earlier, I think our board and I think our staff quickly identified BYU as something, an institution that was clearly additive. And of course, when we first began looking at it, we didn't know if it would be an all sports affiliation or if it would be a football only affiliation. There would have been some opportunity for that, but we're glad it ended up being an all sports. I think the commitment that we make to Olympic sports will be a very good thing for your university. And so, there, as I mentioned, there are hundreds of details that are yet to be worked out. But when you look at the institutional values, when you look at the leadership of the university and of the athletics program, you look at the coaches, You look at the kind of graduates that the university has. That's the sort of organization we want to be affiliated with. And so, I got asked the question about Sunday competition. The Sunday competition really wasn't what it's always portrayed to us. Well, that's got to be a major consideration. Well, it's a consideration, but we don't play many events on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you have ways to work around it. Maybe you end up playing a doubleheader in baseball or softball on Saturday instead of playing a game on Sunday. Those are just things you work around. And the inclusion of BYU, I think they fit hand in glove with our league, and I think they fit hand in glove with the other three institutions that we're adding at the present time.
Certainly, it's a great fit. We're very excited about it. This might be perhaps one of those details still to figure out, but as it pertains to TV revenue, BYU, it appears, will be in the league for the final 2 years of the existing contract. Has there been a conversation about how BYU will get that revenue? Will it be a certain portion? Will it be a full portion in the first 2 years?
No, it won't be a full portion. We are still working our way through that because, as you know, there's an ESPN contract that the BYU has for its home games, and likewise, we don't know when some of the other schools are coming in, but it is likely to be about 50% of what the other members get in the first 2 years, and then it would be regular revenue sharing on a proportional basis after that.
Commissioner, when you make it to Provo, we've certainly got a seat saved for you at LaVell Edwards Stadium, a seat saved for you here in Studio B to come and hang out with us. And we may or may not find one of those 3-foot-long maple bars that are so famous at BYU and slide it your direction.
Well, if you do, that would be just fine. And as long as the chair you give me doesn't have any wires hooked to it, I will be just fine.
Very good. Thanks so much for the time today. We wish you the best luck with the approaching news conferences for the other schools, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, look forward to meeting you guys in person one of these days soon.
You got it. Bob Bowlsby, Commissioner of the Big 12, making his BYU Sports Nation debut.
Okay, so about 50% in the first 2 years, he just said TV revenue. Interesting. And there's a lot